We continue our candidate conversations this morning, and right now I'm happy to have in studio Kelley McIntosh, who's running for Mason County Commission in District 1. Good morning, Kelley.
Good morning.
Thanks for coming on the air with me this morning.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So we've been talking with candidates all week long here on the morning show and kind of getting a better sense of who they are and some of the things that led them to run for the race. So if someone's listening here for the first time, tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're running this year.
Well, thank you. My name is Kelley McIntosh, and I made the decision actually quite some time ago that I was very interested in running for the position of county commissioner. One of the greatest roles and responsibilities of being a county commissioner is really setting that vision and setting that oversight for the county and kind of helping set the direction for where we want to go in the future. Mm-hmm. I have been a Thurston County employee for 24 years with our pretrial services, which is a program within criminal justice. For 15 years, I've been a fire commissioner up in the Belfair area, which is what is now North Mason Regional Fire Authority, mm-hmm. but before that it was Fire District 2. And so taking all of that experience, my education and having a master's degree in public administration, all of that combined, I felt that now was the time for me professionally and personally to kind of engage and look at running for this position at this point in time in my life.
Other than I guess instead of being a citizen activist in helping to boost Mason County, what did you see happening in the county or on the commission that says, well, I got to be on the commission to make changes?
One of the greatest things that I've seen happening and that I've kind of watched, especially over the years, is I really think that communication and those partnerships are really vital. And unfortunately, I think that we've had a breakdown in real communication and relationships that actually help us build consensus and move forward and have a plan. One of the things that when you build relationships, you build trust amongst other department heads, other elected officials, and I don't think that we've had that recently. And so those are one of the areas that I think that I do have strength in. I've worked with other boards here in the county. I was on a public safety commission. I have been a fire commissioner for 15 years. And in that time, we've had a lot of different folks who have come and gone as fire commissioners. And we had a very successful opportunity putting together our North Mason Regional Fire Authority with another district. And a lot of times kind of overcoming a lot of the history, the issues, the fears of change, we were able to do that seamlessly. So I really felt that I had the skills and the knowledge and education to come to the board and bring all that experience and help us move forward.
What's an example of perhaps a communication breakdown that you see in the commission versus the other departments?
Basically, I think the one that stands out the most is one between the board and the sheriff's office. And I'll speak to that very honestly because there's been a lot of, quote, accusations about my relationship with the sheriff. The sheriff and I have been friends for many, many years. And the one thing that we've worked together in the past, and I'd like to work together with him in the future. And I find it a little bit questionable and laughable that I could do anything unilaterally to make things better for the sheriff's office. By coming to the board, you're one of three. And so anything that not only what we would do for law enforcement, for the courts, for any other department, we need to do that collectively and together. And so it would be no different than I'm running for a county commissioner on the board. I'm not running for the Queen of Mason County. I cannot make unilateral decisions. But I think it's important that we do recognize that those other elected officials are independently elected, and to respect those positions and work together better to make decisions collectively.
Earlier this morning, I had Thurston County Commissioner Bud Blake on the air, and one of the things that he talked about is the Thurston Mason Behavioral Health Organization, mm-hmm. and how the two counties are working to kind of change, I guess, the way that we are putting folks either into the jail system versus some treatment or diversionary practice. Could you tell me your thoughts on this partnership?
I think it is really, really vitally important that we have those partnerships. I think that there are folks here in Mason County are concerned that a lot of the resources will be going to Thurston County. One of those reasons is right now I do go into the Thurston County Jail every day, and the triage center is right next door. And unfortunately, we do see a higher population in Thurston County with mentally ill offenders on the street, and they are filling up that triage center quickly. I do think it's important that we not only look at the folks who go into triage center, but we look at some of the laws and the rules that surround how people get into custody with regards to their actions being related to their mental health behavior, not criminal behavior. But I do think that the partnership is important, and I think that we need to make sure that there's a balance of resources, that we are getting them here in Mason County as well.
Would it be, we're speculating here, but a budgetary proportionally based on population for Thurston County? I know that Thurston County has a much higher population, and they do have the facilities are there in Thurston County, but would you work with Commissioner Jeffries, who is with Commissioner Blake in Thurston County on this, to kind of make it 50-50, or do you see that Thurston County should have a little bit more funds because there is a higher population, or how do we get that?
I think it's really important to look for that balance and not just make it a formula solution, that we look at a priority of needs. The other issue is that Thurston County does have other resources beyond that triage center, BHR. They have an evaluation and treatment center. They have St. Peter's. They have other options for mentally ill folks. So instead of just saying, hey, here's the formula, maybe look at the priority of needs, and maybe that priority shifts from every now and then. But I do think that we not kind of lock ourselves into a corner and say, this is how we will always do it, but can continue to revisit based upon the need and the priority. We do lack a lot of resources here in Mason County for those mentally ill folks. We're just getting started with some of our therapeutic courts and those systems around that. So I'd hope that we could spend some time saying, what are our priorities here right now, understanding that we do have limited alternative resources that do exist in Thurston County.
A lot of these additional layers do end up costing a lot more. How would you go about finding the funds for that?
One of the benefits of this, quote, being a therapeutic or mental health or health-related issues, that a lot of times there are other grant dollars that are out there that exist, or other program dollars, or a shift in philosophy with regards to health care. I think we're seeing that more and more. The other issue is tying that into therapeutic and drug courts. Many times it's that chicken and egg theory with regards to is this a drug-induced problem, or is this a mental health issue that's resulted in drug addiction? And so understanding that you treat the person as a whole, I believe that there are other, sometimes program dollars that exist, and that's what supported a lot of our therapeutic programs. So I would try to look at it from that standpoint of not just a tax-based solution for paying for it, but trying to look outside. And when you can create programs that have a little bit of overlap of partnership, then you're actually going to have access to more federal dollars or grants to help support that.
Let's go back and talk a little bit more about public safety, but public safety and transportation. You came down on Highway 3 this morning?
Yes. Actually, I come from Mason Lake because I'm on the backside of Trails Road.
Okay, but
I'm in Mason Lake.
You know that on these dark mornings, with the rain coming down, that a lot of these roadways in Mason County are quite dangerous. There's a lot of curves and twists and turns and thinner lanes, along the Union area and things like that. What should we do to help increase the ability for folks to drive safely around the county?
Frankly and honestly, because I have been commuting on those roads for, about 25 years, really, we do have some good law enforcement that have made some great partnerships between State Patrol, county, city. the best thing I can say for most people is slow down, take a little bit of time, understand that, we're all going to get there eventually. I think that our Sheriff's Office and our State Patrol have done a really good job of being responsive. But at the end of the day, sometimes in terms of public safety is also a little bit of personal safety. And just take that little bit of time to be aware, understand we've got school buses out there, and there are folks walking. I have been fortunate, knock on wood, that I've only stopped to be responding to someone in need. I've never had that myself.
Oh, good.
But it's understanding. We've even got, wildlife and deer, and it's just taking a little extra time.
Okay. I find it interesting that both you and your opponent are both from the north part of Mason County and both are preferring independent. Why is that? What is there a independent spirit up there, or what's?
Oh, there's very much an independent spirit up there. One of the greatest things is I don't think that I fit in a box with regards to what we consider our political parties at this point in time. I have so much diversity in my family. At the same time, I've been in criminal justice and law enforcement, and so that tends to give you a different view of the world, and one that may be even a little more conservative. So I don't think I fit in the box. But what I think is important is that we're making local decisions, and we really should be focused on the local best interest of all of our citizens. And a lot of times the parties may pull folks into these extreme positions on issues that really don't have anything to do with how we make decisions here locally. We should be looking at, how we make public safety decisions and how do we make land decisions. And frankly, it's the oversight and setting the budget. And a lot of those are limited by state or county mandates or laws. So I think we are better able to be more inclusive with folks by recognizing that some of those polarizing decisions, which don't have anything to do with what we are doing locally, they don't better serve us.
I asked your opponent the same question to get people a better sense. Mason County the whole county is in the 35th district. There are other portions of the 35th in Kitsap County and some little parts in Thurston County as well. So there's going to be a lot of work that you will have to do to talk with the folks in the 35th. Can you tell me who you're supporting in both those races for the 35th district?
I would prefer not to. I think voting is private. I have friends on both sides of the aisles on all of those races. And at this point in time, I would just prefer not to alienate anybody. In the instance that we are working together, I think that both the candidates and those races have, really good points. They have strong backgrounds. And for me personally, I would just prefer not to alienate anyone.
Okay. Yeah. Large homeless population in Mason County. How do we address this?
It's not as large as in Thurston County.
No, it's not.
It's really unfortunate. I interview defendants every single day, and what I've seen over the last 25 years is more and more people just having no place to live. Some of that is, their own making and doing. I think before we find a solution for a problem, we really should probably not only identify it, but define what the problem is. Who are those homeless individuals? Is it truly a very large homeless population, or is it a very visible population that we see here in Shelton or that we see in the Belfair area? There's a difference between those folks who may be veterans or mentally ill as opposed to the family that have, lost jobs or through, loss of a spouse or dissolution that they become homeless and they're marginalized. So I think it's really important to first define it, identify it, and who are those folks. Right now, with regards to veterans, my parents are working with veterans courts. My mom has worked in probation here in Mason County for years, and my father is a very big advocate for veterans. And so what they're looking at, along with our courts, is to try to find veteran housing here. And there is a mandate with regards to the VA to help those individuals. And many times that would, include not only veterans, but those who suffer from mental illness as a result of their service to our country. And so I think that would help address that issue. And so that is in the works right now. I think that the mentally ill folks who do suffer from homelessness, I think that is a big challenge, because I think you want to address the underlying issues and do find housing. And then the other issue is there is a housing crisis. We don't have affordable housing here. And I think it would be important to try to find solutions with our private partnerships to say, and ask them and get their input, because they are the subject experts of, well, what does it take to bring housing? What does it take to have development that those folks want to build affordable housing, and not some of the grand palatial places that many of us can't afford? Mm-hmm. So that would be my answer, is really try to get the outreach and define it and really identify it before just simply saying, here's the answer.
We're coming up on 11 days before the election. This is a chance now for you to give us one more opportunity to talk with me about why we should choose you and not your opponent for this race.
One of the biggest things that I believe that I bring to the table is that, I really think it's important when you become a county commissioner to understand the role and responsibility of this job. This job is about establishing the budget. This job is about oversight of the finance and the decision making with regards to the county. That means working with the other electeds and with the department heads and not getting into the weeds of micromanagement. That is when everybody knows their role and responsibility, and we work better that way. And so I think I have a greater understanding of having 15 years of working in a very successful fire district where we are very fiscally sound, we're very progressive, and we do good things for the community. And I think understanding that role is very important. And with that comes the ideal that we need a vision and we need leadership. And frankly, I think I'm better equipped to bring that leadership and vision to our county. In addition to that, I also I have 25 years of criminal justice experience, and not just law enforcement or public safety, but actual court experience, working directly with offenders, working with the courts, and understanding that there's roles and responsibilities that are both civil and criminal actions in our court. And that's about 65 to 70% of what a lot of our budget and what of our responsibilities are to the county. And I'm the only candidate that has all of that experience that can bring that knowledge and that perspective as we're looking at finding solutions to homelessness, to mental health, to our veterans issues, and to our drug problem that is proliferating. And having that experience, I think that I can speak to those issues as a commissioner, as a leader, and work in conjunction with the other electeds and with our courts to help find better solutions.
Kelley McIntosh is running for the Mason County Commission in District 1. You can find her name on your ballot now. Make sure you get that ballot into the auditor's office on November 8th, Election Day. Kelley, thanks for coming in this morning.
Thank you so much.